KIT News time is 8:29. If you're just joining us, hey, we're talking to District 2 candidate Maud Scott. Maud, there's some talk about a change in government. Would you support a strong mayor form of government, an elected mayor?
I haven't seen or read anything about that yet. I have my focus is on getting out of the primary, but we'll see where we go. I'm not dissatisfied with the form of government that we've had because it does allow for a variation of the mayor position. How many have we gone through, and it's worked so far, but we are having a different issue, I believe, this time around, simply because we've gotten such a change in the format of our districts, for one, and then the, how shall I say, the age factor. I was young when I started. We were in our 30s when we got here, and I was active then as an activist, but would I have been really a good candidate or councilman at that age? I doubt that I would have. And so the emotional aspect has gone way up, and we're making decisions to do it on facts and forward thinking and learning from the past, so it's a mixed bag.
Been a lot of talk about, and we've certainly, and I don't know if you've attended any of the forums, but we've had a lot of talk about the policing policy that would bar officers from asking about an immigration status, and and the sanctuary city talk and stuff like that. Would you support anything like that?
Anything like what?
Well, like the policing policy.
Like putting into writing which we're sort of doing now.
Right.
Well, I can see putting in writing what we're doing now, but I just don't understand what the real emphasis is, because having lived in my neighborhood for 40 years, I've seen a very, very different type of mix now as opposed to when we first got here. And I did see at that time situations where housing that was not what I would consider tenable was being rented out, and people were making money on that. And the tenants, generally speaking, were the farm labor group that was coming up and had little choice and were living in deplorable conditions. That's not the case today. And I never, except maybe when they called our neighborhood the Hole, which I still take offense at, we did not have the kind of crime now. We do not have that kind of crime now. We don't have people that are being torn out of their...
conditions are better, and yet the crime is worse. Is that kind of what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is this attitude as if people have to be afraid. Well, that's just simply not the case. In all the years I've lived there, the only people I've seen arrested and taken out and in the middle of the night are the gangster types or the people that are doing crime. So I don't understand the fear. And I've seen 40 years, I don't hear that fear from my neighbors.
Well, Maud, that's a very good point, because I think the fear factor is being used as a political tool, to be honest with you. I fear that people are willing to use fears or the claiming of fears as a way to achieve other kinds of agendas, and so that's just me talking, not Maud, but I see what you're saying. Maud, one of the things that the stereotypical conclusion to all of these things is when we create the scenario where you walk up, knock on our door, and lo and behold, Lance answers because he only works part-time anyway. And you have a chance to say, hey, Lance Stormy, I'm running in District 2, and here's why you should vote for me. What would you tell those folks when this is your pitch to all the listeners from District 2?
I'd say I'm giving you an opportunity to vote for me, and if you looked at my background, you would see that I came a young person, never being a homeowner before, but having some experience in larger cities and seeing what bad planning decisions can do to a quiet community. my neighborhood, despite its reputation, was a wonderful place to live and raise families, still is. And it takes people getting involved to follow these changes in the use of the land and what's permitted and not, and that's where I've been. We also saved our irrigation system even after it had been taken away from us. The key to having a good community is when your neighbors do talk over the fence lines and decide what their problems really are, rather than having someone come to them for the first time looking at the neighborhood and saying, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong. We know what's wrong, and we should only be addressing the causes and fixing the problems that we have, not inventing and stressing things that are not actually problems until you want to make a celebrity case out of it. People have lives to lead. My neighbors and people living around me are going to work every day or taking care of their children while someone else is at work. They're doing their lawns. We took our irrigation water back, and thank God we did, because we turned from what someone once described as the whole east side looks like a brown field, and they wanted to give our water downstream to create a lake for someone else. Now if you look at the contrast of the overhead aerial photography of our neighborhood before the irrigation, and now you look at the pictures today, you'll see the major difference that it's made. So it's getting your neighbors involved, getting people involved because they want to be, not because we need a backup force to stand behind someone in council.
All right, Maude Scott, appreciate that. You are in the populated primary, so your case, so your race will be winnowed down to just the two moving on. We wish you the best of luck with that. If you happen to be one of those folks, we'll look forward to having you back again, spending even more time getting into more detail on some of those issues. So
I would say I'd be thankful for a vote, but even if I'm not elected, I will still serve.
as you have for all these years.
That's right.
Maude Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you, Maude.
For having me.